Lesson 92. In this lesson, we're going to learn about conjugations. In Latin, there are 4 groups of verbs called conjugations. We have the first conjugation, the second conjugation, the third conjugation, and the fourth conjugation. And each of those 4 conjugations has different characteristics. Typically, whenever you learn Latin, you learn the first conjugation first, and then later you learn the other conjugations. So all the action verbs that you know are from the first conjugation. And in this lesson, we're going to learn a little bit about the second conjugation as well. And we have a little chart here that's going to allow us to do some comparison between the first conjugation and the second conjugation. In this simple chart, we have a verb from the first conjugation, that's porto, and we have a verb from the second conjugation, and that's habeo. Habeo is a verb that you don't know yet, but of course you already know porto. So we see 2 forms of porto here in this chart. We see porto and then the infinitive form, which is portare. Then I've put a second conjugation verb there as well, just so we can compare. Let's take a look at the word habeo. Notice how the word habeo has the letter E right before its final O, and you see a big arrow pointing to the letter E there. Also, the infinitive form of habeo, which is habere, has the letter E 3 letters from the end instead of the letter A. The last 3 letters of portare are are, but the last 3 letters of habere are ere. So the whole point of this chart is to demonstrate to you some small differences between verbs of the first conjugation and verbs of the second conjugation. Now in the future you'll learn even more differences, but for now we're just learning some basic differences. As we go through the remainder of this book, I'll tell you more about the second conjugation. And one last thing to keep in mind, from now on, whenever we learn a new verb, we're going to learn the first person singular form as usual, and we're going to learn the infinitive form right away along with that. And hopefully, when you look at the first person singular form of a verb and the infinitive form, you'll be able to immediately tell whether it's from the first conjugation or the second conjugation. So that's all for this lesson. This lesson was just a brief introduction to conjugations. In the next lesson, we'll learn more about the verb habeo from the second conjugation, and we'll learn about how to make the different forms of the verb by adding the endings.